You probably started pogging uncontrollably like that one Star Wars guy when the trailer for Elden Ring Nightreign started playing at the Game Awards last night. O sea, a mí me pasó. But shortly after that brutal dopamine injection, I am pretty sure you were left with one single question.
What the heck is this thing?
Elden Ring Nightreign seems to be a new standalone multiplayer roguelike experience, very different to what we have experienced in Elden Ring as of now. Just from the get-go, I want to clarify that this is not a DLC, nor Elden Ring 2, Electric Boogaloo, and the official Japanese website offers some information on it, stating that in this title, which retains some of the enemies, weapons, and other elements of Elden Ring, and Dark Souls as well apparently, players can choose from 8 different character types with distinct individual traits and take on new threats. Reusing assets is practically the core aspect of the brand at this point. The player's goal is to survive for 3 days in a vast field with others. In preparation for the ever-approaching night, you can freely explore the field and strengthen your characters. On the 3rd day, you will have to face powerful enemies. The Yoru no O, or Kings of the Night, for those Burgerland poggies. There seems to be 8 character types, and these are predetermined hero classes, which means that customization might either be non-existent or minimal. And at some point during the day cycle of the game, the arena will start shrinking and players will be forced to operate within the confines of the non-lethal area. Yeah, you can type your Fortnite comments now if you want. Up to now, the concept seems okay-ish, I guess. But there is more info circling around from people that actually got to experience the game a bit. So let's take a look at the most important points. Nightreign is a multiplayer game, but it's purely PvE, meant to be played in relatively short sessions of about half an hour each. You play as a member of a 3-player club team exploring a familiar but different version of Lingrave. You'll be jerking around in an alternate version of the Round Table Hold until you launch into a session, at which point you'll connect with 2 other players. You choose characters and you start playing. Just like in Elden Ring, you can be matched with random players, or use a multiplayer password to party up with friends, and whatever. You have those? You have friends? I don't. You will fall from the sky, Fortnite style, into the map, which has a static overall layout with cliffs, caves, castles, and so on, always in the same place, but randomized placements of encounters. You'll run into different bosses, different configurations of ruins, and some other randomized shit. Before each run, you will choose one of 8 final bosses to battle. You need to survive 2 days of exploration and combat, with each day ending in a big boss fight of its own. On day 3, you will warp onto a magical battlefield called the Spirit Shelter to battle the big boss of the run on a wide open battlefield that resembles the site of the battle against my bro Radan. There's no single-player adventure or campaign, and there's no character creation at all either. Nightreign doesn't let you create a custom character, but you can unlock alternate skins for the cast of 8 preset characters though. Weapons and basic enemies have the exact movesets they do in the base game. The controls are the same, with a few additions, and all Elden Ring's battle mechanics are still there. Backstab, shield parries, and whatever the fuck. You move fast as fuck, you can climb shit and bolt up ledges and stuff, which is kinda cool to be honest. There's also no fall damage, which makes sense for this kind of gameplay. They also say that enemy mobs can become piece easy due to power scaling and the fact that you're always 3 players, with the final boss being the saving grace of difficulty. They don't intend to make it a live service game, nor have any plans for seasons or battle passes or whatnot, and it's not going to be a free-to-play game either. You'll have to pay for the whole thing, but they also ensure that the whole experience will come with that one single purchase of about the same price as Shadow of the Meme Tree, which was around $40, I believe. Also, despite the glaring similarities and mean comparisons to Fortnite, the game is not a battle royale. In fact, there's no PvP at all.
What?
There's no invasion mechanic, and you can't fight against other players. At least for now. They'll surely add a PvP feature in the future. Right, guys? Right, the Battle Royale reign thing seems to be there to limit the amount of time you can spend leveling up by fighting enemies and pushes you towards a boss fight confrontation at the end of each day, which is roughly 10 minutes from dawn to dusk. Leveling up now works differently, and instead of stats, your character will simply acquire 1 overall level when leveling up, increasing your stats all across the board, with stat growth being different for each character. If you're down by an enemy, your teammates have a short window of time to revive you before you die, in which case you'll just respawn nearby, but you'll also lose all of your runes, and you will de-level by 1 level. Repeat this shit on day 2, and on day 3, you fight the big baddie. Personally, I think this would have been a great opportunity for Fromsoftware to develop a balanced and engaging PvP experience for everyone to participate in, but they don't seem interested in that, and judging by some comments, the casual portion of the player base doesn't seem interested either.
Just saw the thumbnail, but all I can say for now is I would even pay double just for it to not have PvP, so you can balance the game purely on PvE, which allows the game to have all those sick moves that we just saw in the trailer. And those were just some of them. It was, in my opinion, one of the biggest thing Elden Ring players wanted, who enjoyed the PvE aspect of the game. I have the media literacy of a 5-year-old child.
There is some additional information talking about the loot that can be obtained by defeating enemies and so, but until we can actually get our hands on the thing, all of this information is pretty irrelevant and you'll most likely forget everything about it in a couple of hours. What is not irrelevant though is that there seems to be only one map at the moment, and that one map is a weird version of Lingrave which gets randomly generated each time you play. Kinda? With enemies and mini-bosses also being randomized and shit? I don't know, I think we'll have to wait and see how well this is implemented. It can be great, or it can be kinda terrible, to be honest. And finally, Nightreign seems to take place in an alternate reality of Lingrave, so story-wise, apparently there's no connection to Elden Ring, but there should be. It has the same fucking name, for fuck's sake. En conclusión, the hype we had when we first saw the trailer quickly died down when we read a bit more about the whole thing. Of course, we will still have to wait and see if they add or implement new stuff. Por favor, dennos PvP, la reconcha de la lora. But from the initial look, I'm particularly not too interested. What disappoints me the most is that Fromsoft is clearly trying to cater to a specific demographic. PvP doesn't seem to be a priority or outright a consideration for this project, even though its format and gameplay could easily provide us with a fantastic and frenetic PvP experience similar to Fortnite or other battle royale games that are still thriving to this day. The developers chose to focus their attention on a multiplayer co-op experience, similar to what seamless co-op used to be in its early days. Miyazaki is also not entirely involved in the project, and some are saying that this is just merely a test game for the new Fromsoft employees to get used to the way Fromsoft operates. There are some pretty cool ideas here and there, and Miyazaki is allegedly working on a new masterpiece in the future, so this game could just be a nice way to entertain us until the release of said masterpiece is finally announced. I just hope that this doesn't set a precedent in Fromsoft, where they now start making their games without any PvP whatsoever. The PvP in Fromsoft games may be far from perfect, but it has been one of the best types of gaming experiences of my life, and there's so much more room for improvement and ideas that the mere thought of them abandoning the concept altogether already makes me really sad and disappointed. But who knows, maybe tomorrow they will announce that aside from the co-op mode, they will include a new battle royale mode where you can Fortnite balls all over your enemy and shit. I mean, the base game has emotes. That's gotta mean something, right?
Please, 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 please.
So what do you think about Elden Ring Nightreign? Do you think it's gonna be very poggers, or do you think it's gonna be some generic slop Fortnite balls piece of shit? Leave your answer in the comments below so I can read it and, I don't know, say hi or something. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the new Elden Ring game. Nos revimos, gorditos lindos. Chau, chau.